Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the National Lunch and Learn League event. My name is Russ Fitzpatrick, and I'm your host for today's NL2 event. I want to thank all the AnnieMac home mortgage professionals across the country for gathering your rooms together. If everything worked perfectly today, you just finished your lunch with an AnnieMac home mortgage professional, and you're sitting together in a real estate office or a restaurant or an attorney's office or a title company, and we're coming together to mastermind, to bring like-minded professionals together in a room to talk about how to become more productive. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, stated that one of the steps to riches is creating a mastermind alliance, where you're with people together talking about how to advance your career, how to forward your career to the next step. And I think AnnieMac Home Mortgage's National Lunch and Learn League is built to serve you in a true mastermind alliance. So today's topic is EBOL. What the heck is EBOL? Every Buy Owner Lists. It's an acronym that we've been using for 32 years. We've got hundreds and hundreds of agents across the country that have taken thousands of listings, literally thousands of listings, converting for sale by owners to MLS listings without ever making a cold call. So I ask you as we get started here today, if there was a surefire way that you could take an extra 4 to 6 listings a year without ever making a cold call, would that be worth an extra 2 hours a week? 2 hours a week. Now the sentiment that you're going to pick up on today is this is a simple system. This is a very, very simple and proven system for you to go out, find those do-it-yourself home sellers, and offer them your services. But you don't have to make any cold calls, and maybe most importantly, you don't have to change their mind. See, 75% of all for sale by owners that ever put up that little red and white sign, 75% of for sale by owners that ever go down to Home Depot, ever go down to Lowe's to buy a for sale by owner sign, 7.5 out of every 10 of them list their home with a realtor within about 6 weeks of having purchased that sign. So what EBOL is about is not changing the for sale by owner's mind, but instead being present when their mind changes. That's what CRM is all about. Customer relationship management. We want to be present when their mind changes. So one of the things that you're going to learn today about the EBOL CRM follow-up system is it has a tremendous amount of automation to it. It's a system. It's a way that you can follow up with a for sale by owner over 6 weeks' time till they become acclimated to the concept that their system is just not going to achieve the highest possible price. It's not going to get their home sold with the least inconvenience to them. And it's certainly not going to be a vehicle for them to get on with the next chapter of their life and to move into their next home. But you are going to notice that it is going to take some work. There's going to be some labor. And whether you pay an assistant to do that labor, like so many of the elite residential real estate associates across the country do, or you do that labor yourself until you can afford an assistant, the labor is going to be formidable. It's going to require a couple of hours every single week. And if you want to know what the ugliest 4-letter word is in residential real estate, it's W-O-R-K, work. A lot of realtors have an adverse relationship to that labor intensity. They have an adverse relationship to accountability at all. Some of you became a realtor because you wanted to be your own boss. And that meant you didn't want anybody to ever tell you what to do. But if you want to be supremely successful in converting for sale by owners, if you want to transition large groups of properties into your inventory, if you want to manage the listings, if you want to put the signs in the ground that have your face on them, you've got to do some labor. And I know that comes natural to most of you in the room, but it's worth saying. There's going to be some labor here, and you're going to get to know what managing a customer relationship over a several week period of time feels like. So I'll start out with my last argument about going ahead and committing a couple of hours a week to this endeavor. If you're sitting there and you're deciding on your own whether this is worth your time, go back 200 years to Abraham Lincoln's famous quote, if he was given 6 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend 4 hours sharpening his axe, sharpening his saw, and then just 2 hours chopping down the tree. Well, what I think you're going to find with the for sale by owner follow-up system, it's going to make you a better realtor when you're dealing with your sphere of influence and your friends and family. It's going to make you a better real estate professional when you're working with your farm area. It's going to make you a better real estate professional when you're working with your past customers. See, what EBOL follow-up system does is it teaches you as a realtor about formalizing your processes, creating structure, accountability, and direction in your sales processes. So I'd like to think that if you spend a couple hours working on your for sale by owner EBOL system, just a couple hours a week, you're going to learn exactly how it would feel to follow up on an expired listing or an absentee owner, or work closer with your investors. Or maybe you go after a geographic farm area differently because what you learned here with EBOL. So one more time, EBOL is a for sale by owner follow-up system that's been proven over 3 decades, working with hundreds and hundreds of realtors across the country. And it's a very simple system, and it's completely sponsored by Annie Mac Home Mortgage. So if you're part of the Annie Mac Works productivity platform, or if you have a My Works suite account with your mortgage professional in that room, you're already a part of it. You already own it. We're not selling you anything here. There's a great opportunity for me to be in service to you as a residential real estate referral partner of Annie Mac Home Mortgage without having to ask you to swipe a credit card or reach out and write a check for anything. The entire platform, the entire EBOL CRM mechanism is absolutely already available to you. Every letter we're going to talk about, every postcard, every nuance of the program is already fully sponsored by Annie Mac Home Mortgage. So I want you to picture or even put yourself in the mindset of a for sale by owner in a great seller's market. You know, we're in a pretty fantastic seller's market across the country. That means inventories at a relatively low status, so these listings are more valuable to you than ever. It's easy to say that as interest rates remain at historic lows in the history of the national economy, that families are comfortable making decisions to sell their home and to move into a new one, take advantage of those great low interest rates. So we're in a nice cycle to be in residential real estate. So put yourself in the mindset of that for sale by owner and say, gosh, you know, sure seems easy to sell a house, right? And you're going to see this scale. And what the scale represents, it's a scale of beliefs, conviction. It's a scale of how they feel, what their mindset is like when they go down to Ace Hardware and pick up a for sale by owner sign. And they say to themselves, man, I don't need a realtor. Why would anybody need a realtor? All I need to do is put the sign out there. Seems pretty easy to me. And the mindset is I can save the $20,000 and put that money in my pocket, right? Not an unreasonable set of beliefs. They may even say to themselves, hey, this makes perfect sense. I know that my friend sold his home by owner. I heard about another buddy that sold his by owner. And frankly, the last time I sold my house back in the old neighborhood didn't seem that difficult. So I think I could save that $20,000. And that scale begins with a group of useful beliefs, strong convictions on the side of the for sale by owner premise. But as the weeks go by, things start to happen in the life of the for sale by owner. A buyer schedules a showing with great conversations on the phone, and then at Thursday night at 7, when they've cleaned up the whole house, and they've gotten the kids out and the dog away, and they're ready for that showing at 7, that buyer just stands them up, doesn't show up. And then they get a little discouraged. And then the next week, a buyer says, yeah, I'm going to make you an offer to buy your house. It's just week 2, I got an offer coming in. But the offer never materializes. Or they find out, worst case, the buyer wasn't even qualified to begin with. Weeks later, they're entertaining a conversation with a consumer, and they find out they've never even been pre-qualified with a mortgage professional. They've never even graduated to the concept of what their monthly payment was going to be. And here they are looking at homes, but the consumer's not even in a mindset of being able to purchase a property. And they find this out by pressing them for a decision. And no decision can be made because there's no mortgage pre-qualification present. And ultimately, maybe one of the things that happens is that the buyer that does want their home has a visceral conflict on price. The buyer says to the seller, hey, you're not paying a commission anyway, so why don't I just drop you down about 20 grand, since that's what you're saving in real estate commissions anyway. See, that's where one of the conflicts occur in the for sale by owner process that works in your favor. Two people can't save the same commission, can they? So the buyer comes in looking for a deal. Let's put yourself in the mindset of a buyer. You're out with a realtor, you're looking at 5 or 6 houses a day, you're comparing and contrasting value, you're looking at features, advantages, and benefits of different neighborhoods, you're getting counsel from a realtor, and then you go outside of that relationship for what? To find a better deal. So the buyer goes out to the little red and white sign in the yard and says, I can get a better deal with this guy because he's not paying a realtor. So now both parties are trying to save $20,000 in commissions. That's where the conflict exists that the for sale by owner didn't anticipate. They're like, wow, I didn't even think of the fact that my $300,000 home is on the market versus other $300,000 homes. And if the buyer's going to buy directly from me, they're going to expect a discount. So there's a couple of visceral conflicts that happen in the for sale by owner process. So now as the weeks are going by, the useful beliefs are fading on the side of the for sale by owner argument, and they're starting to balance out. This is usually over the course of some buy owners cave in 10 days, some buy owners cave in 1 day. But 75% of buy owners cave in the first 6 weeks after they put their sign up. So what that means to you as a realtor, you don't have to spend your time on Mike Ferry aggressive scripts anymore. You don't have to go for the throat with decision making and get into them with the Ben Franklin close and the pros and cons of selling by owner. All you have to do is use the Annie Mac Home Mortgage EBOL CRM technology to stay in touch with that for sale by owner until they're ready to make a decision, until they've acclimated to the idea, until their scale has balanced out to a fair balance between, hey, I thought it was going to be easier than it was. One other thing happens in the lives of for sale by owners. The all-important pillow talk in the evenings before they go to bed. The early morning coffee conversation with their spouse that says, you know, honey, we saw that house. We saw that new home that we loved, the new construction property or that other MLS listing that's up in Savannah where they always desired to be. They finally found it. Oh, honey, I found that house. And then they go, well, we got to get our house listed on the market. Or the inevitable conclusion, percentages of families that end up in divorce, percentages of families that have a job relocation. Hey, honey, the job relocation came through. We have to be in Austin by the end of next month. What are we going to do? We have to get the house on the market. So what you're seeing is over a 6-week period of time, a series of eventualities. Buyers that disappoint them, consumers that weren't pre-qualified, consumers that negotiate too aggressively with them on price and surprise them with this visceral conflict on the price. How about the buyer that goes out and finally finds that dream home they wanted and they say, gosh, it's time to get the house on the market. So in the words of Mick Jagger, time's on my side. Time is on my side as a residential real estate professional. the eventuality that 7.5 out of every 10 for sale by owner signs turns into an MLS listing within the first 6 weeks, that's an incredibly advantageous position to be in as a residential real estate professional. So once more and forevermore, finally, EBOL is not about changing a for sale by owner's mind. EBOL is about you being present when their mind changes. If you can wrap your brain around the one truth of customer relationship management and staying in touch with them over a period of time, hopefully you'll make a connection to this new way of doing business. And possibly you and your mortgage professional from Annie Mac Home Mortgage will form a partnership that makes you more productive. And as Annie Mac has said for the last 7.5 years, our success is measured by your success. There's nothing that we can do as mortgage professionals that's not interdependent upon you being more productive. That's a great place to be. We're working together in that Napoleon Hill Mastermind Alliance to kind of forge new ideas, new ways of doing business that can make you better, more productive, and ultimately put more money in your pocket. What's step one of the EBOL follow-up system? Step one is just going out and finding for sale by owners. It's not that difficult. There's websites like byowner.com or the BUYowner.com. There's websites like forsalebyowner.com where they all aggregate and list. And one of the greatest lessons that I ever took into residential real estate was when I, as a young realtor, smiled and dialed those for sale by owners. Because here's what happened in real world, real-time residential real estate training for me. I picked up the phone and called all of the for sale by owners that were on byowner.com. And more than half of them were already listed with realtors. I called all the people that had listed with Scott Eckhort's byowner.com program, and half of them were already listed with realtors. I called all the little red and white signs that had been up, and they had all already converted to for sale by owners. So it gave me a really newfound sense of purpose and conviction to stay in touch with for sale by owners over time. So let me tell you another way to find for sale by owners that's kind of unique and niche-y. Look on bulletin boards. Little grocery store bulletin boards, little homeowners association clubhouse bulletin boards, or a condo association. If there's a little rag newspaper, we used to have down here where I worked, the Jewish Journal or the Quad City News. These were fantastic vehicles to identify for sale by owners. Kind of lacked conviction, some of them. Some of the by owners that I found on those little bulletin boards or in those little rag newspapers turned into be the most kind of vulnerable or transparent for sale by owners. They kind of just put it out there, and they weren't really trying that hard. And they became a great audience for me to convert for sale by owners. Another vehicle, a little less traveled, go ahead and pay for a subscription to RedX. REDX, RedX, or Land Voice. And there's a couple other subscription-based for sale by owner systems that feed you the data real time as soon as those for sale by owners put on the property. But change your mindset. If they list on Wednesday, don't expect, if they put their house on the market on Wednesday, don't expect that they're going to list their house on Friday. Don't go in there with the mindset of changing their mind. So just step one, going out and finding the for sale by owners. I used to pay my father, who was a retired police officer, to go out and find for sale by owners with me, and he'd come back with a list of 12 or 15 a week. Today I pay my 22-year-old son. So when you're out and about, find me the for sale by owners, right? It's easy to track prospects if you put a little feeler out there. If you have a system, have them go out and find 10 for sale by owners each week and make that their obligation. So step two of the EBOL CRM follow-up system is as simple as pie. You've went out and you found some for sale by owners. Now you've got to make the initial contact discovery call. this is not a sales call. This is not a prospecting call. You're not trying to influence their decision making in any way. You're just simply on a data acquisition find. You could pay an assistant to do this. You could pay your sister to do this. My retired father, remember the retired police officer, used to go out and make the initial contact with the for sale owner for me. And using the sheet that's in front of you, the initial contact sheet, just go out and acquire the data. Hey there, how much are you asking? How many bedrooms do you have? How many bathrooms do you have? Is there anything special about the lot that I should know about? What's the age of the roof? What's the age of the air conditioning systems? Here's a thoughtful question. In comparison to the rest of your neighborhood, do you think the flooring is above average, below average, or about average for the neighborhood? Where are you thinking about moving to? In a perfect world, if you sold your house to close at the end of next month, where would you move to? See, as you're acquiring this data, you're not selling. But in fact, if you have a personal assistant that's going to make this initial contact for you, if you have a friend, family member, or it's yourself, you can always stop the conversation and say, no, I'm working with a full-service real estate professional. That sounds a little suspect. No, I'm sorry, I'm already working with a realtor. I'm going to go talk to my realtor about this. So my father used to go out and contact for sale owners and gain that data for me and then bring that data back to me. And if the for sale owner pressed him for a decision, he'd simply say, listen, I'm already working with a real estate agent from this company, and I'm going to be working with them to buy my house. And then he'd just back away. But what I recommend, like we said, sharpening your own saw, even if you're sales adverse, even if you're not interested in calling for sale owners or expired, just pick up the phone or knock on the door and go out to acquire the information. It's a discovery call. It's not a sales call. You're not changing their mind. Your intention is not to change their mind. It's simply to acquire information. And for those of you who are in the room that are eager to see your income go up by an extra $30,000 or $40,000 over the next 12 months, there's a couple of you that are eager to make an extra $40,000 next year. Get comfortable with this initial contact and say to them, hey, I'm just learning about your situation. Can I ask you a question? Would it be okay if I sent you an email? Get their email address. Do you mind if I send you a text? Can I drop by a sales contract for you to use if you're lucky enough to find a buyer? All these little ways that a realtor can set themselves apart from the rest of the competition and just be there to help. Now let's go on to step 3, my favorite. Step 3 in the EBOL CRM follow-up system. First you go out and you find for sale owners. You, your assistant, or a friend of the family goes out and acquires that data for you, that all-important information and data. Enter that data into your EBOL CRM. You're going to see there's a sheet 1 that is a place for all of that data that you acquired. Now, can you picture yourself acquiring data for 30, 40, 50 families that you could serve over the next 12 months? So you build that data into your EBOL CRM follow-up system, and then you move on to fulfillment. Fulfillment is a breeze. Don't make it more complicated than it is. It will be cumbersome the first time you do it. It takes me about 2 hours to complete 10 EBOL follow-up systems. 2 hours to complete 10. In the beginning, it's going to take you 4 to 6 hours to complete 10 because I've got a stack of letter 1 in my office. I've got a stack of letter 2 in my office. I've got a stack of blank sales contracts in my office. I have a stack of note cards that are handwritten. Okay? So all of these follow-up pieces will become second nature to you. You will have sharpened your saw after that first month of doing it, and you'll be able to breeze through these for sale owners 10 every 2 hours. So here's a good rule of thumb. If you're interested in adding $40,000 a year to your gross commission income over the next 12 months, I'm going to recommend that you do 10 for sale owners per month. 10 for sale owners per month. Find them, make the initial contact, acquire the data, and enter them into EBOL for fulfillment. If you're more aggressive than that, and you need to make $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year more than what you're making today, I'm going to recommend that you do 10 for sale by owners a week. Now, if I can do 10 for sale by owners in 2 hours, what we've just discussed is what I think is a very, very real opportunity for you to augment your existing income by $40,000 by working an additional couple hours a month on for sale by owner follow-up. If you really want to amp it up and do a couple of $1 million in sale extra from your for sale by owner follow-up, just do 10 a week. For me, that would be about 2 hours per week that I have to put into my for sale by owner follow-up system. So I'm going to go through the basic premises of the EBOL CRM follow-up system and the fulfillment of it. And like I said, it takes me about 2 hours to do 10 of them. Now here's the key. Do not promise yourself that you're going to follow up on your for sale by owner at another time. Instead, time block a particular window, Tuesday from 1 to 3, Monday from 9 to 11, Saturdays from noon to 3. Whatever the time frame that you're going to allocate to your EBOL follow-up system, make it ritualistic. Successful people are ritualistic by nature. What that means is that the best realtors in the country protect that window of time to the exclusion of all else. So what we're going to take from this part of the conversation is that I meet a for sale by owner on Tuesday at 1 and I do all of the steps, all of the sequence of the follow-up system at one time. All of them are addressed, all of them are scheduled in my Outlook, all of them are scheduled in my Hootsuite, all of them are scheduled to go out to the consumer over the course of the next 6 weeks in that 1-2 hour window that I'm holding myself accountable for Tuesday from 1 to 3. So what we're going to start off with is the initial contact, the data entry of all of their data into your EBOL follow-up system. You guys have access to the CRM in front of you now. It's an Excel spreadsheet that's built to serve you with multiple contacts. The first contact we call letter 1. It just says, help me, help you. It's a very light first contact with a for sale by owner that features your photograph, your name, and your contact information to say, hey, I stopped by, or I met you this week, and I just want to extend an olive branch to you to help you with anything that you need during the for sale by owner process. It elevates your credibility because you're not concerned with changing their mind. You're just charismatically reaching out to them and saying, listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I'd like to help you in any way that I can. The second piece that they receive from you is a handwritten note. Blue ink. Very rare for a residential real estate professional or any line of work to use blue ink in a handwritten note anymore. And it makes a strong emotional impression on their memory. You send them a handwritten note. The script for what to write in the handwritten note is right there in front of you in the CRM. It's a simple thing. Remember I said to you I have a stack of my handwritten notes already filled out, and I just get it ready to go. So the next thing we're going to make sure gets in their hands is a blank contract. I took the liberty of highlighting a couple of areas of the contract. I went in and highlighted the mortgagee clause. I wanted to show them what happens if a non-qualified consumer purchased their home. They could waste a month of their life waiting for that loan commitment. I also took the liberty to highlight the inspection and repair clause, one of the most visceral conflicts that could exist in a residential real estate transaction. And I wanted to show them the width and depth of the conversation that's going to have to happen in that contract negotiation. So I drop off that, or have mailed a blank contract highlighted in those two areas. And I simply state in the CRM, hey, I took the liberty of providing you a blank contract. If you're fortunate enough to find a buyer who's ready, willing, and able to purchase your home, we want to assist in any way that we can. Now we've made 3 contacts with them already. How about a mortgage referral? Hey, I want to introduce you to my friend from Andy Mac Home Mortgage. We've been doing the business together for a long time, and he's there for you. If he can help you pre-qualify one of your consumers, this is my title partner. I have a completely in-house experience, a one-stop shopping experience for all of the buyers and sellers that I work with. So I want to introduce you to my attorney and my title partner. So I provide those references as part of the EBOL follow-up system. The next step is I want to make sure that I've extended an offer for a staging analysis. I send them that beautiful staging coupon that says that there's a $600 value, 8-page report that I'm able to do for them because I'm a certified staging professional. So I extend that olive branch to them during that window that they're deciding how much conviction they have for the for sale by owner process. And I extend that olive branch to say, hey, if you're interested in a staging analysis, I happen to be a certified staging professional, and I'd be happy to come over and perform a staging analysis on your property. Make sure that you can make some common sense decisions to protect your equity and really maximize that sales price. I've been trained and certified as a staging professional to provide that to you. That's another fantastic step in the follow-up of the relationship of a for sale by owner. One of the most important steps that you can take with a for sale by owner to help their mindset acclimate to the global real estate community. They've got to understand what the global real estate community feels like, because no longer are purchasers coming to their home just through the neighborhood. Buyers are coming to their neighborhood from all corners of the globe. So Andy Mac Home Mortgage put together a 2-minute video that highlights our digital marketing strategy, that we partner with your brokerage to offer a worldwide exposure through digital marketing to the global real estate market. So the next step in the EBOL follow-up system is just to extend that video to every for sale by owner in your system. The digital marketing strategy video focuses on the global real estate market in meaningful ways and shows them how they can leverage a multi-billion-dollar mortgage partner, a fantastic residential real estate brokerage operation, and really expose their property to all corners of the globe. I'm going to take a moment now and let you take a look at that 2-minute video showing and highlighting the partnership of Andy Mac Home Mortgage.
If you are selling a home in today's market, you need to mobilize the global real estate community. Today's well-qualified home buyer starts their shopping experience online from all corners of the globe. Our brokerage leverages digital marketing to generate leads, capture the consumer relationship, and assist them towards their purchasing decision. It is this comprehensive strategy that helps us sell your home faster and ensure the highest possible price. We have partnered with national mortgage lender Andy Mac Home Mortgage to enhance the consumer experience for well-qualified buyers and leverage a patented technology called Smart Lead Capture. This technology uses single property websites that feature your home on a standalone property-specific website, syncs your property to tens of thousands of real estate search sites worldwide, creates an interactive video of your home on YouTube and optimizes that video for all Google searches, creates printable flyers that can be shared via text, email, and all types of social media, links to Facebook with social media sharing tools for family members and coworkers, developing even more exposure, which allows us to capture leads right from our very own app. All this, coupled with our patented Smart Lead Capture tools that gets, keeps, and nurtures buyers from a truly global real estate market, allows our alliance with Andy Mac Home Mortgage to get your home sold.
Well, I better let the standing ovation and the applause simmer down after watching that video. That was our gesture to show you how Andy Mac can partner with you and your sellers to extend that olive branch of digital marketing to your sellers and your residential real estate brokerage in partner with a multi-billion-dollar mortgage enterprise, we can really take advantage of some cutting-edge technology, the patented smart lead capture technology, and really aggressively market their property to a worldwide real estate community. So that video is a great way for you to differentiate yourself in the hearts and minds of that for sale owner. And it's just another step in the process. Remember, 7.5 out of every 10 for sale owners end up listing within the first 6 weeks. So you've just got to be there when they do. The next piece of equipment might be one of the most powerful psychological mental chess plays that you can make with a for sale owner, and it has to do with their destination property. So throughout the conversation in your discovery call, you found out that they're moving to Akron. They're moving to Houston. They're moving to Seattle. Your best move in the for sale owner experience is to pull up on Realtor.com, preferably houses that are active in the MLS, printing off 5 or 6 of them with a couple of residential real estate agents that specialize in that area that they're thinking about moving to. Think about the mental chess of handing a consumer that's listed by owner a list of properties that are available in their destination area. Now, here's the key. Reach out to your mortgage professional that's in the room and say, hey, Chris, hey, Lewis, I need a mortgage analyzer. I need a loan estimate on that destination property out in Seattle. They're buying it $299. They're putting down the equity they have in their house is about $40,000, and I want to figure out how much the PITI is going to calculate approximately to on that destination property. Now, part of your CRM follow-up system to that family is I took the liberty of calling some of my friends that sell real estate actively in Seattle, Washington. I wanted to pull up about 5 or 6 houses that represent really good value out there in Seattle, kind of might fit your mindset of what you'd be thinking about moving to. And then Lewis, my buddy here at AnnieMac, went ahead and took and put together a mortgage estimate for you to show you how the equity from your home here in Boca Raton is going to convert to purchasing power out there in Seattle. And I promise you, huge light bulbs start to go off in the mind of your for sale owner at this point. Huge fireworks go off. Do you mean I can get into that new Seattle home for this much money per month? Do you know that I can call that realtor and go see 5 or 7 homes tomorrow if I want to in Seattle? This is an interesting epiphany period for the for sale owner experience, meaning this residential real estate professional here in Southeast Florida handed me 6 or 7 residential real estate listings in Seattle, and he gave me a mortgage estimate on exactly what it's going to cost me to buy those homes. Now I'm starting to see how that $40,000 worth of equity after real estate commissions transitions into purchasing power up there in Seattle, Washington. Do you see how that kind of mindset shift or playing mental chess with the consumer to say, listen, and why would they go out and shop direct with for sale owners? To save a few bucks. That's the only reason they would do it. If all things on the playing field were even, they would get in the car with that agent from Seattle. They'd go out and see 6 or 7 houses at one time, get market information and data, schools, churches, synagogues, information about the community, and lo and behold, they make an offer on a property. This serves as one of the key epiphanies in the for sale owner experience, and do not hesitate to get yourself on Realtor.com, pulling up those homes that are available, listed, active with realtors, and pair that data with a mortgage estimate from your AnnieMac home mortgage professional. Now remember, I'm putting all this information together during a 2-hour window once a week. If I'm looking to bring about $2 million to $3 million in gross sales volume to my enterprise during the next 12 months, I want to do that about once a week. If I'm happy with a $30,000 to $40,000 raise, I want to do at least 10 EBOLs a month so that I'm consistently doing 120 a year. But up your volume based on your income goals, right? But remember, and this is the last takeaway, last time I'm going to say it, All the CRM labor has to be done during that time window. Don't promise yourself that you're going to follow up on this for sale by owner later. Get the work done. I did say the ugliest four-letter word in the residential real estate industry is the word work. If you sit down from 1 to 3 and you bang out that contract, you bang out the video email, you schedule it in Outlook that it's going to go out in 3 days, you schedule it according to the CRM time frame. So you're going to notice that there's 3 letters and there's 3 emails. The 3 letters are structured in a very effective way for a sales letter: photograph, quote, bold headline, paragraph, bold headline, paragraph. These are proven, readable sales letters. They keep the consumer reading. And you're going to also notice that the letters and the emails become progressively more aggressive over time. They start out pretty benign or neutral, and then they move to a little bit more of an aggressive stance, mobilizing the real estate community, featuring the smart lead capture technology, featuring the digital marketing strategy and things like that. So the 3 emails and the 3 letters. Now it's important when you do a letter in residential real estate, I would go as far as to say that the way the letter feels when they open it is important. So I want the picture and the quote facing out from the envelope when they open it, the card inserted into the trifold 8.5 by 11 letter. I want the envelope to be handwritten, vital, especially in the for sale by owner sector. Handwritten with blue ink. Now I am going to recommend, depending on the laws of your state, if you can have a non-specific return address that doesn't feature your company's logo up in the top left-hand corner, it's more effective. It generates a higher level of readership. But it's not a requirement. If your state requires that your logo and your residential real estate brokerage be featured on the outside of the envelope, then go ahead and do that. But I would recommend downplaying the big blue rock from Prudential or the big red, white, and blue balloon. I would downplay the residential real estate brokerage logo on the outside of the letter, because if you're a for sale owner, think of their mindset. It's like, oh yeah, I know what this is already, and they may not even open it. So we like to use handwritten blue ink on the exterior of the envelope, and we do use a straight U.S. Post Office stamp. We do not use bulk mail with the CRM follow-up equipment. So I hope that we've taken you on a journey that involves time blocking and a little bit of structured labor associated with a sector of your marketplace that will consistently produce listings for you over and over and over again. We hope that we've created an environment where you can see what the selling process feels like with a for sale by owner through our CRM that will better equip you when you're selling to your friends and family, your sphere of influence, your geographic farm area, or if you're going to venture into absentee owners or expired listings down the road. I'd like to think that the for sale by owner follow-up CRM can serve as an example or an analogy of how you might follow up on your BNI group, or another networking opportunity, or the PTA that you're involved in, or your sphere of influence, or maybe most importantly, your past customers. By example, to show you how multiple touches through different channels of communication, a few emails, a few letters, a few texts. And let me stop this and tell you that I personally have discovered that consumers, and it's in your EBOL CRM, consumers are they have a huge appetite for in-messages on Facebook and in-messages on LinkedIn. So you're going to see inside of your CRM, you're going to see there's a chance for you to make a connection with this for sale owner on Facebook, and then to send them a light, soft footprint communication. So when you learn how to communicate with the consumer over time and you use multiple communication channels, email, letter, handwritten notes, Facebook in messages, you start to realize, wow, this is how I should be following up on the PTA group that I'm a part of, or this is how I should be following up on my past customers as well. Remember when I said sharpening the saw, and if you're good at for sale owners, you're going to get better at your farm, or your absentee owners, or your expireds, or your past customers? Well, I hope that we've shown you some light into how you can use a soft footprint. A soft footprint of communication over time to increase your rapport with the customer, increase your credibility with the customer, and ultimately be present when they're ready to make the decision. So you probably have a good amount of material in front of you. You probably have seen by now the EBOL CRM. But if you just write this one thing down today, you're going to have everything you need. And that's ebolworks.com. It's www.ebolworks.com, worx.com. Just go to ebolworks.com. You'll find all the letter templates, all the email templates. You're going to find a little script and dialogue to have a soft footprint during your discovery call. Everything that you need to follow the EBOL CRM follow-up system is right at your fingertips at ebolworks.com. If you'd like to get a hand on that video, reach out, get into EBOL Works, go to the CRM piece where the videos, and you can have access to that video that Annie Mac Home Mortgage put together for you as well. I would like to encourage you to really truly partner with your Annie Mac loan professional that's in the building with you. They've got all these tools at their disposal, the EBOL tools, the digital marketing strategy tools, your MyWorks suite account. And I'm going to give you a roadmap. In case some of this listing acquisition conversation is a little foreign to you, I'm going to tell you, walk to the back of the room, meet with your mortgage professional for a few minutes today, and say, hey, Lewis, how do I get my hands on that staging certification that Russ was talking about? How do I access that staging education? You go to ReeseWorks.com, you can take the whole staging course, you're going to have access to the coupons, the staging workbooks, everything you need. What's he talking about with this MyWorks Suite digital marketing strategy? What was he talking about when he said that video that came up? How can I take advantage of that? He's going to put you into MyWorks Suite, get you your own password, get you educated through our 4x4 educational system, 4-minute videos to educate you as how you can use that digital marketing strategy. And last but not least, if I can encourage you to take 2 other courses with Annie Mac Home Mortgage, they offer a course called the Bulletproof Listing Presentation. It's one of the quintessential skills of being a residential real estate professional, and your mortgage professional in the room with you at Annie Mac Home Mortgage has access to a course called Bulletproof Listing Presentation. I think it's kind of the next step or the gradual progression towards a worthy ideal that you can begin to understand or really improve your follow-up systems with for sale by owners, and then really graduate to a sense of confidence or bravado or even swag when you walk into that residential real estate listing environment. It's called Bulletproof Listing Presentation, and it's free from Annie Mac Home Mortgage. So in closing, and with great appreciation for your time and attention today, I hope we did it justice. I mean, when you bring 32 states together, no pressure, right? We've got to really hope that we put our best foot forward with you. But I really sincerely hope that you take some of the resources available to you through the EBOL follow-up system and really lock arms, get shoulder to shoulder with your mortgage professional from Annie Mac Home Mortgage, not just in pre-qualifying buyers, but also in helping you solicit your sellers to the next level of their decision making through loan analyzers or mortgage estimates and good faith estimates. So reach out to your mortgage professional here at Annie Mac Home Mortgage. It's our pleasure, it's our privilege, and remember, our success is measured by yours.